Welcome to the Deep Dive Exploring Radical Ideas.
Great to be here.
Today, we're really getting into a specific song, Who is John Galt, by Bob Rach.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it tries to capture this huge figure from Atlas Shrugged, Aunt Rand's novel.
Exactly. John Galt. He's positioned as Rand's ideal man, right? Mm-hmm. And that question, who is John Galt, just echoes through the book and beyond.
It really does. It becomes a kind of a cultural shorthand almost.
So this song, it's like a lyrical distillation of Galt's philosophy, or at least Ranch's interpretation of it.
Mm-hmm. A snapshot through music.
And that's our focus today. We're going to dive deep, really deep into these lyrics to see what they tell us about Galt and the radical ideas he represents according to the song.
Ideas about, the individual, freedom, how society should work, things like that. Core themes for this show.
Absolutely. Things like flourishing, privacy, liberty, justice. It's all packed in there. Okay, so The song kicks off. John Galt uses his mind to move the world. He believes the universe is eternal and knows that man is mortal. What's the immediate takeaway here?
Well, right away, it's the mind, isn't it? Uses his mind to move the world. That's a huge statement. It puts reason, intellect right at the very center.
It's the prime mover, basically.
Exactly. And then you have that contrast, the vast eternal universe versus our finite mortal lives.
Yeah, what does that contrast suggest?
I think it suggests that, okay, we're small, we're temporary, but our minds, what we create with our minds, that can have a lasting impact, even on that huge cosmic scale. Ideas matter.
Right. Our power is cognitive. Okay, then the lyrics say, John Galt obeys nature to command its force. He trusts in reason, science, logic, as did the philosopher Aristotle.
Ah, the Aristotle connection. That's significant.
Why specifically Aristotle, do you think? What does that signal?
It's placing Galt squarely in that tradition of, empirical observation, logic, understanding the world as it is. Not through faith or superstition, but through rational inquiry.
So, obeying nature to command its force.
Mm-hmm.
It's about understanding the rules to, use them effectively.
Precisely. You don't fight reality, you understand it. You study the natural laws, use science and logic, and then you can actually shape things, command its force, as the song puts it. It's mastery through understanding.
A very grounded approach, then, which leads nicely into the next bit. John Galt prefers choices over duties, rejects blind faith, confronts the rulers of unjust reigns.
Yeah, this is where that radical individualism really comes to the forefront. Choices over duties.
What does that preference tell us?
It's about self-sovereignty, isn't it? Acting based on your own judgment, your own values, not just because someone or some tradition says you have a duty, especially if that duty doesn't make rational sense to you.
And the rejection of blind faith, confronting unjust rulers.
Yeah.
That follows directly from that, right?
Absolutely. If you prioritize your own rational choice, you're naturally going to question authority that demands obedience without justification. You're going to push back against systems you see as illegitimate or oppressive. It's about thinking for yourself.
A clear rejection of unearned authority. Okay, then there's this line. John Galt considers the universe as benevolent, not forgetting men can be cruel and violent. That seems almost contradictory. Benevolent universe, cruel men.
It's a nuanced view, I think. A benevolent universe might mean that reality itself isn't inherently malicious. It's ordered, it follows laws, and if we use our reason, we can flourish within it. There's potential there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the song immediately adds that human factor. People can be irrational, cruel, violent. So the universe might provide the stage, but human action introduces the potential for conflict and destruction. It's a realistic caveat.
So the potential is good, but humans can mess it up.
Something like that. It emphasizes the need for reason and ethics in human interaction, I suppose.
Okay. And that leads into maybe the most memorable part, the refrain. Larger than the Milky Way, an end in himself won't fade away. He cries out for all to hear, I want to be free. Without reason, self-interest, and liberty, humanity will cease to be. Wow. An end in himself. What's packed into that phrase?
That's huge. That's the core of ethical individualism, isn't it? It means your life belongs to you. You exist for your own sake, not as a tool for others, not for the state, not for society. Your purpose is your own flourishing.
So not just a cog in a machine.
Not at all. And then connecting that self-ownership directly to freedom, I want to be free, and linking that freedom to reason and self-interest as, essential for human survival.
Yeah, humanity will cease to be. That's quite a stark warning.
It is. The song is basically saying that suppressing individual reason, self-interest, and liberty isn't just wrong, it's ultimately destructive for everyone.
Heavy stuff. Then the lyrics shift focus a bit. John Galt fights evil people by starving them, calls on the victims to break their chains, stop feeding the lords who bring them pain, starving them. What's that about?
Yeah, obviously not literal starvation. It's a metaphor, right? It refers to the idea central to the novel of the productive people, the thinkers, the innovators, withdrawing their talents.
Like going on strike.
Exactly, a strike of the mind. They stop contributing their value to a system they see as parasitic, as exploitative. By withdrawing, they starve the system that depends on their output.
So the victims are the producers, and the lords are the state, the system.
Pretty much. The collectivist structures, the bureaucracy, those who take without producing. The call to break their chains is a call for those producers to recognize their own value and stop supporting their own oppressors. Stop feeding the machine that hurts you.
The call for active withdrawal, then. Okay, next up, logic. John Galt knows you can't have the cake once you've eaten it. Whenever there's a contradiction, check your premises. Go find the truth.
Simple, but profound, right? It's basic logic. A is A. Reality is what it is.
It's a cake analogy. You can't have it both ways.
You can't. And if something seems contradictory, if your ideas clash with reality, the song says don't just ignore it. Check your premises. Go back to your fundamental assumptions. Find the error in your thinking, because reality won't bend.
So it's about intellectual honesty,
Right.
rigorous thinking.
Absolutely. A commitment to facing facts, identifying flaws in your own reasoning, and pursuing what's actually true. No wishful thinking allowed.
Then the tone shifts again, becoming more aspirational. John Galt, the hero within us all, waiting to awake, holds his head high, never kneels, sees the world for what is real.
Yeah, this is interesting. Galt isn't just this one guy anymore. He becomes a symbol.
A symbol of what? The potential within everyone.
Exactly, the hero within us all. It suggests these qualities: integrity, rationality, self-respect, holds his head high, never kneels. Seeing reality clearly aren't unique to him, the potentials we all have.
So it's saying you too can be like Galt. You can awaken that part of yourself.
That seems to be the message. It's empowering. It's about recognizing your own capacity for independent thought and action, for self-esteem.
And then we get a list, almost like commandments. John Galt lives by the 7 virtues strong: rationality, honesty, integrity, productivity, independence, justice, pride.
A very clear moral code laid out there.
Let's quickly unpack those. Rationality, we've touched on reason as the guide. Honesty.
Commitment to truth. Facing reality. No deception, no faking.
Integrity.
Acting in accordance with your rational principles. Consistency between thought and action.
Productivity.
Creating value, making things, achieving things, using your mind and effort productively.
Independence.
Relying on your own judgment, your own effort, self-reliance, treating people as they deserve based on their actions, rewarding merit, condemning vice, rational evaluation of others.
And finally, pride.
Not arrogance, but moral ambition. Taking pride in your own achievements, your own character, your ability to live rationally and productively, self-esteem earned through virtue. Taken together, they paint a picture of a very specific kind of ideal person, don't they? Intellectually rigorous, morally consistent, self-reliant, productive.
Definitely. And then the lyrics mention community. John Galt surrounds himself with heroes true to build and guard the values high that make life rich and spirit bright. So it's not just about being alone.
No, and that's important. While individualism is key, the song acknowledges the value of associating with like-minded people. People who share those core values: reason, productivity, freedom.
To build and guard those values, like creating a supportive environment.
Exactly. Think of Galt's Gulch in the novel. It's a sanctuary built by and for these kinds of individuals. It suggests that a truly good society is built on shared rational principles, upheld by those who live by them.
So association based on shared values, not just proximity or tradition.
Right. Voluntary association with those you respect.
And it circles back. John Galt moves the world with his own mind, with his own hand, for his own good, for the good of mankind. We touched on this earlier, but how does the song present this link between self-interest and the greater good?
It presents them as harmonious, not contradictory. The idea is that by pursuing your own rational self-interest, by achieving for his own good, you inevitably create value that benefits others.
So innovation, wealth creation, these benefit everyone.
That's the argument. It suggests that the best way to help mankind is to be the best, most productive individual you can be, operating freely. Trying to force altruism or sacrifice actually harms everyone in the long run by stifling the source of progress, the individual mind.
An argument against collectivism, essentially.
Very much so. Okay, then the economic and ethical principle. John Galt never sacrifices, never demands, despises looters, moochers, all kinds of parasites. He only follows the trader's principle, exchanging value for value in a win-win manner.
The trader principle. What are the key points there?
Okay, never sacrifices means you don't give up a greater value for a lesser one or for nothing. You don't let yourself be exploited.
Yeah.
Never demands means you don't expect the unearned from others. No free lunch.
And despising looters, moochers, parasites.
That's the rejection of anyone who takes value without creating it or trading for it voluntarily. Looters take by force, moochers by pleading need without offering value.
So the ideal is?
The trader.
Yeah.
Someone who interacts with others through voluntary exchange. Value for value. Both sides benefit based on their own judgment. Win-win. That's the only moral way to interact, according to this principle.
Mutual respect, mutual benefit, voluntary action.
That's the core of it.
And the song wraps up by hammering home the importance of thought. John Galt, a man who fights for the right to think.
It really brings it back to the mind, doesn't it? That fundamental right, the freedom to use your reason, is presented as the foundation for everything else.
Bedrock value.
Seems so. And then that final direct call. John Galt is me. John Galt could be you. Awaken the John Galt that sleeps inside you.
It's a direct challenge to the listener, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It takes this fictional character and says, look, these principles, this potential for reason, for independence, for integrity, it's in you. You can choose to embody it, awaken it.
A very powerful, individualistic call to action to end the song.
Definitely.
So wrapping up our deep dive into Bob Rach's Who Is John Galt, we've really peeled back the layers of these lyrics. It's clear the song focuses intently on portraying Galt as this embodiment of reason, intense individualism, liberty.
And a complete rejection of collectivism, sacrifice, and unearned demands. The lyrics are pretty unambiguous about those core tenets.
Yeah, they really are. It functions as a kind of musical manifesto for that specific interpretation of Galt's philosophy.
A concise one compared to the novel, but yeah, it hits the main points hard.
It really does. Okay, so maybe a final thought for you listening in. As you think about these lyrics, about this portrayal of John Galt focused on reason, self-interest, liberty, what parts of it really make you stop and think?
Yeah, how do these ideas resonate or maybe clash with how you see things? How might these principles, play out in the real world, in your own life, or in society today?
Something to chew on. Consider the power and the implications of individual thought and action. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.